Hello everyone, and welcome to the Creative Conversation podcast, where we talk about our creative life and everything related to our artistic journey. Please feel free to comment below and let me know what you would like to hear in the next podcast. If you're listening on YouTube, you can watch me gel printing photos of my vintage cameras. Okay, so now let's begin. Today, I would like to talk about something close to my heart. It actually has something to do with YouTube. So, for a few years now, people use YouTube videos to learn new things. They learn a new language, how to cook, they can learn to play an instrument, and maybe they even want to learn a new skill like photography or juggling. Whatever it is you want to learn, there's probably a YouTube video out there that can teach you how to do it. And especially now, since the pandemic and lockdown, so many people found themselves at home and with some extra time on their hands, time that they didn't have before. So I haven't seen a research or anything, but I'm pretty sure the number of people learning new skills on YouTube probably exploded in the last few months. I guess if you ever wanted to be a YouTuber, this is probably the right time for you. Me too, I tried to learn new things like learning how to draw. That didn't go that great. And I even tried studying some French. So yeah, it's all very nice, and I just love YouTube and I enjoy making my videos very much. But there is one problem I noticed. Maybe not a problem, but more like the nature of our brain. For some reason or another, we tend to underestimate the difficulty of a process when we see it, and before we even try it. So it just looks so easy. When we watch these videos, the performers just make it look extremely easy. So then we think to ourselves, oh, it's so easy, I for sure can do it too. And we really believe that after we watch that guy juggling 3 or even 4 balls, we can easily do it. Maybe we will need to practice for like 10 minutes max. But of course, after 10 minutes, we are nowhere near achieving it. So why does our brain do it? How can we be so wrong about our abilities? My guess is that it's probably some survival mechanism that our brain tries to make us feel more in control of the world around us. So it deceives us a little here and there. Otherwise, we probably would have been quite overwhelmed and feel lost. I don't know, this is just my explanation. But let's face it, people who are really good at something, they simply make those things look deceptively easy. But that's only because how the activity is a routine to them. And in order for any activity to be a routine, we have to know they worked on it so hard. Can you even imagine how many hours of practice someone had to put into juggling just 3 balls? They definitely didn't learn it in 10 minutes. So why am I even talking about this? Like I said at the beginning, this subject is close to my heart. And this is why. I will explain. So let's go back a few months. I think it was around December 2019 when I noticed a gel printing plate at our local art store, and it looked like a fun process to learn, so I purchased it. When I came home, obviously I checked out a few YouTube videos and I learned how to print with my new gel plate. One of the videos was actually showing that it was possible to image transfer and print images from glossy magazines. I thought this was pretty cool and I gave it a try. And it didn't work right away, but eventually after a couple of weeks I got the hang of it. Then I had this idea, which was a little crazy at the time, but I thought that instead of using magazine images, maybe I can laser print my own photos and transfer them using the gel plate. So I obviously searched it on YouTube and Google, but nobody was doing it. I couldn't find any information that it's even possible. The funny thing is that when I look at it now, it didn't even occur to me at the time that if nobody else was doing it, then that's a good sign that it's probably impossible. So around the end of December, I think, I began my experiments with my own printed photos and the gel plate. I tried and tried so many different variations, but nothing was working out. And as always, when something doesn't work out, my attitude is to put it aside for some time and then try again with, renewed energy. After about a week, I came back to it, and this time I decided I need to be a lot more organized, and I should document every step I make, every supply I'm using, and so on. You probably think I'm a little obsessive, and you wonder why I even bothered with this process, especially if there was no indication it's going to work. I think I'm always in a constant search for interesting ways to present my photos or to see my photos in a new light. And I think that every process has such a different result. Sometimes the same image looks so different when I use a different printing method. In fact, and this is a side note, a few years ago when I had a gig as a guest teacher, I was showing students 11 different alternative processes that were made from the same image. And it was immediately clear to them how the process can change the essence of the image. So this is why I'm always looking for a new process. And this one, using a gel printing plate, seemed like a great opportunity to create something new and totally different. So yeah, I was experimenting and documenting, so this whole process took a long while of figuring it out. Until somewhere around mid-January, I made my first amazing gel print of one of my photos from New York. And it was a wonderful moment. I actually documented it in my journal, and this is what I wrote. I am a genius. I figured out how to print my own photos with a gel plate, and they are so beautiful. I don't think I'm a genius, but it was a good day. I was so happy, so I went a little out of control here. So then, no long after, I began making tutorial videos about the process, which I posted where else on YouTube. And even then, I was still getting better at doing this process, still learning it, coming up with new things. And later on, I was even able to image transfer my photos with a homemade gel plate. The thing even surprised me because at the beginning, my homemade gel plates were not working at all for image transfer, and it did look quite impossible. But eventually, I cracked this one as well. So I'm sure by now you get my point and see how it took me such a long time to come up with this process. And then shortly after I began posting my videos on YouTube, I started to see these comments from people. And not only on YouTube, I also got a lot of these comments on Facebook. And pretty much the general idea of these comments is, I love your photos, the process is amazing, I want to do it too, I tried and it didn't work for me, so I gave up. And I think this YouTube syndrome of making a process seem so easy to people is happening to me too. I worked hard on this process, and now it's a routine to me. I'm pretty good at it. And so when people watch me gel printing my photos, it just looks so easy to do. And then when they try to do it, and it really never works right away, even if they follow the video exactly, it's still not going to work the first time they try. So some people get very disappointed, and even worse, they are discouraged from continuing to do the process. This whole issue gave me an idea to put together a class, because through the class I would teach the process gradually, one step at a time. You gotta walk before you run kind of thing. And it's totally a different approach than the one that is encouraged by YouTube, where someone sees the process, how it's done, and then they try to begin, not at the beginning of learning the process, but at the ending point. Okay, so that's basically what I wanted to talk about today. So don't get discouraged. If you try gel printing or any other process or juggling, don't get discouraged after 10 minutes or even 10 hours. Some processes need a lot of practice. And the more practice needed, often the bigger is the reward, right? And if you're one of my creative buddies who are interested in gel printing your own photos, remember that what kept me going was that reward of figuring out a new process. But you don't even need to worry about that because unlike me, you already know that this process actually works. So keep practicing, keep trying. It does take time, but it works. And you will figure it out. You will find the magic ingredients that work for you, and you will make beautiful gel prints. Thank you for listening. If you're interested in my books and online classes, check out the links below this video. And as always, don't forget to subscribe.